Tom, you know that every Sunday at 10 a.m. and when it's daylight savings time, 9 a.m., I am seated in my chair, sometimes outside if it's a slight overcast day and there's no glare, with my iPad, refreshing the Shonen Jump app like a madman, for all the new chapters, for all the week's new chapters.
I feel like you've been doing this since I've known you. How long has this been a routine of yours? Because this has been years of. I remember you different jobs in your life. You've just always found room on Sundays to make sure this happens.
So I'll tell you exactly how it started. I used to work a pizza delivery job. And one of the shifts I would work would be the Sunday shift from noon to 8 p.m. And during this shift, I only delivered pizzas, which means if there were no pizza to deliver, my ass was on his fucking chair, which basically I would sit there'd be this like guest hallway where you'd walk in the pizzeria, and then the hostess stand would kind of be over there, and there would just be these benches where people could wait if it got busy or whatever. And I would just post up right on the bench, right up against the ATM machine which led to where the gambling games were. And basically it was a nice, tight, cute little corner so nobody could see the heinous fucking manga I was reading. And I started just reading. I got the Shonen Jump app just because it was really cheap. It was no brainer. Started reading like Chainsaw Man and stuff, and I mostly started with that. And then I basically discovered on the app, oh, hey, the new chapters like come out on Sunday. And I think back in 2021, 2021, when I started reading weekly, they would come out at like noon, like right at noon. So I'd get to work, and then the chapters would be live. And then slowly but surely, Tom, I started reading a series, and I'd catch up, and then I'd be at work that Sunday because I worked every Sunday that shift. And a new chapter would be there waiting for me. And then it used to be like I'd read 4 series a week. Then it got to 5, 6, 8. And now, as of today, I mean, I read 14 series today. And
how do you do that? How do you actually like stamina wise? Like how do you schedule? I know you're off Sunday. It's a weekend. Thank you. How do you actually read 14 like series and bounce around? Do you ever feel like you get lost in that? Like break me down, put me in your chair. What does your day look like when I finished 4 series? Do you take the water break? Do you like what does it look like?
No, that's a great question. So sometimes sometimes I'll have a bottle of water. Sometimes I'll have a bottle of water with me. Sometimes if I'm really feeling myself, I have a Coke Zero on standby, ready to go. Recently though, I've been getting breakfast prior to. I'll go to this.
So you make it a thing.
I'll go to this local diner on Sunday morning, typically before the series go, because I don't want to read this shit on my phone, bro. But usually at the diner, what I'll do is there's a couple of bi-weekly series that I'll read a chapter of, because typically I can read about a chapter before my food comes. So about 8-10 minutes or so. Recently at the diner, I've been reading Kurozumi Zawa Sensei's Folly, which is phenomenal, by the way. Highly, highly fucking recommend this. This shit's awesome. And then I'll read something like Ruri Dragon, a lot more lighter. Again, comes out bi-weekly, tri-weekly or whatever. Keep up with those series that way. But then I usually wrap up with my meal, get back home, and then when I'm back home, it's time to sit down. I refresh, all the chapters appear, and then also you get to see whatever of the Shonen Jump covers change every week, of course, because they release a new magazine in Japan, and basically they'll take the art, or they'll like slightly redo the art, and they'll have a digital banner of it. So last week it was Blue Box, because Blue Box celebrated its 5-year anniversary to date the show. And this week was Akane. This week was Akane Banashi, because Akane just hit 200 chapters today. So typically this is the schedule that I read the series in, because I've kind of settled into this like cadence this is kind of how I get through the
right. And
stories.
I'm also interested, and you might already have prepared this, of like, you know, you refresh, you get like you know, sometimes you like, is it like a Dorito bag where sometimes you see the one that has extra powder and you're saving that one? Like, do you like a One Piece? I'm gonna put that one to the side. Like, do you kind of ratchet like quality to like get you through the day, or genre?
It's a little bit of column A, it's a little bit of column A, and a little bit of column B. There are definitely stories that I save for the end.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there's my like go-to stories that I read first, stuff that I always save for the very end of my reading session, and then the middle is where I'll mix it up a little bit. This was my reading order for this week, March 29th, 2026, to date the show.
Yeah, wow, you really did it there. 10:48 p.m.
come out in late April. So you brought up One Piece, which is let's start there, because we got to ask, is it a One Piece week? Because unfortunately, we live in a society where it's not always a One Piece.
Yeah, sure,
week. Right. If it is, that shit's getting read immediately.
Okay,
we don't fuck around.
So not diner.
Not diner. We go home from the diner. But if One Piece pops, if I went to the diner late and One Piece pops, I'm going home. It's being read on the iPad.
You're like, check please.
Yeah, I'm taking I'm sprinting back home so I can read One Piece on the iPad.
It's like, it sounds like the YouTube video you'll watch on TV. It's like, this is the manga. This is iPad worthy.
Yeah, honestly, now like all these series, I wouldn't say all these series are iPad worthy, but all the new chapters, yeah, I want to read them on the iPad. I want to read them on the iPad.
Once you're in, you're in.
Yeah, the only difference is sometimes like I'll fall a few weeks behind with the series. Either it had a bye week, or I had to condense the reading schedule if I had something going on at like 11 or noon or whatever. So I'm only able to get through like a couple series, and I come back later that night. Sometimes I fall off something and in a couple chapters, and I'll catch up at like work or whatever. When I got some time at work, I'll catch up on my phone. But if for the Sunday magazine reading session, it's with my iPad. So One Piece, if it's a One Piece week, that's first. That's first. But the always reliable first manga, of course, Tom, it's Kagurabachi. I'm there every week, ready to rock and roll. And typically with Kagurabachi, I read it and then I immediately go on the subreddit and I want to see what people are talking. I immediately want to see what people are saying. That's part of it too. Is both when something really interesting in the manga happens, this, by the way, goes for any series. After I finish, I'm like, oh, I gotta see what people are saying about it. Or sometimes I'll open up Manga Plus and then I'll read the comments on Manga Plus, because the Shonen Jump app doesn't have comments. And just because I want to sometimes, I just want to see what people are saying. Usually it's not that insightful. But Kagurabachi, the community for that's fucking amazing.
Feral.
They're feral, but also they're funny. They're just funny as fuck. They got like great memes.
Cool. And that probably like makes you like the series more, like, because it's like
totally. Oh my god, totally.
It's a place to go.
Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, I love the Kagurabachi subreddit. Shout out Kagurabachi Brazil, who's just a Brazilian reader on like Twitter, who's got like lots of fun things to say and talk about. I'm always on that shit first. That's even sometimes in a One Piece week, if like the last chapter was really, really good of Kagurabachi, I'll read Kagurabachi first, then One Piece right after. But that's typically the number one. But with One Piece recently, especially with how good it's been, I've been reading that first. Then after that, after I get those two out of the way, then a little break from the action with some blue box. With some sports.
Okay, so you've
romance.
had enough. You probably just doubled up, hopefully, on a good weekend. One Piece Kagurabachi. You need something light.
Yeah, a little light, but also like this is a series that I have a Blue Box will sit in a special place in my heart because Tom, I caught up on this series since chapter 8. And we're 236 chapters, I think, into it now. And I've been reading it week to week.
So this is part of your early pizza days.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So like Kagurabachi, I was already living here in Kansas City. I was a chapter 1 reader for Kagurabachi because again, I was in on the new series reading shit for Shonen Jump. And but like with Blue Box, it was just a new series. I read the first 8 chapters. I was like, dude, this is awesome. This is great. And yeah, I've been with it through its highs, its lows, its extreme highs, its more middling moments. So I'll always have a good place for this. So it's one of the first things I read because I just like to see where the story's going. And it looks like we probably have maybe 6 to 12 months more of narrative. We'll kind of see what Miro wants to do with it. But the fact that it just celebrated 5 years is awesome. And it's like, yeah, dude, I've kind of low key been there for 4.86 of those 9 years. And then after Blue Box, this is where I'll kind of get a little, I'll just kind of whatever I'm feeling. This is kind of when we get to like the kind of what I'm feeling. And I'll read the older like the older series. So like right after Blue Box Day, I read Sakamoto Days. And Sakamoto Days is a different type of action story where you're just really invested in what is the set piece gonna be. Like, we're at a casino. Like, I can't wait to see how the roulette table is used in this fucking assassin battle. Or the crazy enemies, or just kind of what crazy art Yuto Suzuki is going to throw at me. Recently, it seems to be a lot better. I think he was going through something for a little bit because we were getting a bunch of 15-page chapters. So some like, not as long as your 17, 19-page standard. But I typically go through that, and that's a pretty quick read because it's a lot of action, a lot of panels of art, not a real super deep story, not a lot to really read. So you go through that pretty quick. And then after that, I read Hima-ten today, my weekly cucking ritual, as I've started to refer to it as, just because the characters, Tom, in Hima-ten, we did a video on it. Go watch it. And it's one of these things where it's like it's like a guilty pleasure for me. I just got to see how it shakes out.
I must admit, I did read chapter 1 of Hima-ten.
It's not a good first chapter. I'll tell you that right now. I dropped the series. I mean, I dropped the series at chapter 6. I was like, I'm not fucking reading this shit.
But then
I'll get back to it.
You're like, I liked being punished.
It's someone famous once said that like good manga or whatever is about like the illusion of change, and that is so clear with this fucking story.
Oh, do you mean like someone famous, like mangaka?
Yeah, like a mangaka, like a famous mangaka said, like manga's about, or like Shonen Jump, or manga's about like the illusion of change, where it seems like things are like the status quo seems to shift, but also not really. And Hima-ten is like a great example. Like right now, Tom, where we're at in the story, it is the main character Tanichi is gonna profay his love. He's gonna confess to the best girl 1 month from now. One in universe month. Wow. That's like a year for me. Wow. I'm gonna have to work a whole summer and fall. I'm gonna have to live a whole ass life to get to this confession that's not gonna work out because I've been down this road.
Yeah, that's gonna be a while.
It's gonna be a long ass time. But regardless, I'm in it now. I'm in it. It's part of the diet now.
So it's in the middle. It's in the middle.
Yeah, it's in this sort of this messy middle of where I'll just kind of whatever. I'm like, all right, it's Hima-ten time. All right, it's the Sakamoto Days time.
So is this where you're like taking a break maybe between manga reads? Are you getting?
Maybe I'll grab a water or something.
Okay,
maybe get like a little water.
Okay, so you're locked
grab
in.
Another drink. But yeah, today I was locked in. Today I just fucking right straight through them. Then after that, I read Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi, which is a series I like it. And I'm tired of pretending that it's not good. This is the thing, Tom. Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi is like very, very classic One Piece coded in all its good and bad quality. In like all its good and bad qualities, where like, yeah, stuff does kind of just happen in the fights. And they don't really like explain shit, but The art's awesome. Like the art's really creative. The character designs and the demon designs are a lot of fun. The story's got a lot of heart, and I really like Kyoshi, and I like the fucking cast of characters. It's really fun. I enjoy reading it, and it was a series that I when it first came out, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Because it kind of came out in like the midst of a lot of Exorcist series getting greenlit. And I think it kind of got like lost with people. And it wasn't, and I remember I was on my balcony and there were about like 13 chapters out. So about like a volume or 2 volumes worth out. And I like sat down and I just kind of just read through that and I'm like, oh, I get it. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I was able to read through enough where I was like, okay, I kind of get it. It's like, did you ever like either see or watch Mashal, like Magic and Muscle?
I'm aware of the premise.
To me, Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi at the time was like, oh, I get it. This is kind of like the Mashal replacement, where it's comedy action, more leaning on the comedy, but we can have some moments where it gets a little serious, but it's funny. It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be a comedy first. And I really like it, and I think you should give it a chance. If you're up for some fun shit, and I think it's got a lot of heart and it's good. And then after that, another series that like I remember reading the first like 3 or 4 chapters when it came out was like, I'm not really into this. And then it had about 40 chapters when I like sat down to like, oh, I got to catch up for the series. And then I would like totally turned around on it. Shinobi Undercover. This is a series that kind of did like a sort of pivot about like 20, 25, 30 chapters through, where they just started introducing a lot of like basically it's basically about ninjas. And all the ninjas have like fucking superpowers. They got like literally dead ass Naruto bloodline ass superpowers. But I don't care because the art is fucking insane. Like I can't believe how fucking good and underrated, like really underrated, the art is for the series.
Now I have a question.
Yeah,
just picking on the bigger topic of your immense Sunday, your Sunday that holds up this podcast. Anyway, like the Sunday is very important. I think for me, like a routine like that would be very powerful and would honestly like, in maybe a way that I wouldn't even be completely aware of, make me have more positive feelings for every single manga I read on this Sunday.
Totally.
Because this Sunday means a lot to me. It's a day of reset. I focus on this hobby I love. It's a mind space I allow myself to get into. I'm giving myself space to just be with this manga. So like every memory associated with every one of these series is Sam giving himself complete freedom and this kind of routine of like self-love and service. And so like it's almost, I don't even if it was like, you know what I mean, like it's like I can see why you came around, because you're associating these manga with like this really like beautiful practice you've given yourself for 5 years that you've stuck to for the most part.
Basically, yeah, because
no wonder these probably all bubble up kind of positive feelings a little bit, which I'm not even hating on. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, because it's just a part. It just becomes a part of the routine. And I will say, like, it's funny you mentioned it that way, because I was like jokingly laughing to myself about this because we were preparing for this topic, and I'm like, this is like unironically probably like the highlight of my week. Like,
yeah, like every week you kind of almost, and you can't even get ahead on it too, which is great. Like there is almost like a gotcha pull to it that is exciting too, of like who's updating this week, like. And
I love and I get so excited, Tom, like when I'm reading and I'm like, oh, color page, like, because basically every week there's one lead color page. So like this week's was Akane's, which is after Shinobi Undercover, and basically lead color page, the first sort of a normal, it's got panels and text and stuff or whatever, it's the first page of the chapter, will be in color, and then it's a 2-page spread for the lead color page, and then the other color pages, which I think there's typically 2 to 3 others per magazine, is just a single color page. And I always love like a series that I like but isn't maybe the most like popular, especially out here in the West. Like it's a color page like I get real amped about it. I get real excited about it. And I always take a screenshot of it. I always send it in my group chat with my friends.
Yeah, it's like the shiny Stantler, you know, like
yeah,
no one's
check
favorite,
this shit out.
But yeah.
Great reference. But yeah, so like and also too, like, because again, a lot of these series, like, I'll say this, like Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi, Shinobi Undercover, Akane Banashi, Himiten, Sakamoto Days even were really all series I read for the sole purpose of catching up to just being caught up on the whole magazine.
They're part of this beautiful day you've given yourself, which again, I can't recommend anything more, is like, especially like something about that Sunday morning, you're hitting the breakfast shop, you're really putting yourself in you got your diet, your Coke Zero, like you're really putting yourself in like optimal enjoyment.
Yeah.
I'm reading the iPad.
I'm so ready to go. Yeah.
So okay, and just I don't want to burden you because you've been doing this so far. No. Like you've been giving like a soft review of every one of these series you do for this episode. You don't have to do that too. If you want to just run through the schedule as well, like, you don't need to. I'm sure we could do more. Like you've been like, okay, so next I read this. Here's everything I
really like about it.
And again, that's on you, but like you don't have to do that.
It'll get a bit quicker because after Shinobi I read Akane this week. Sometimes I'll read Akane like fourth, like right after Blue Box. Just kind of just depends on where my head's at.
You're saying it. So right now, what's set in stone is One Piece, Kagurabachi are the first two.
Yeah, and I'd say probably Blue Box has like been the clear
Blue Box
right
3.
After that.
Okay, so Blue Box 3.
And then this is where Sakamoto Days,
and then everything's a little bit more flexible.
Yeah, I get a little flexible.
And then are there clear enders though? Are there some clear
finishes? Yeah, there's some clear enders. But before we get to that, okay. I'll say all those are the established like new gen to vet like series that I'm caught up on. Then I do my batch read of the newer series, the ones that are like more that have just like started. So like for this week, it was Mage Next Door, which is gonna probably be over in like 5 chapters. It was all right. It did a thing like 2 chapters ago where like it kind of like threw out its whole premise, and it kind of pissed me off. It like really pissed me off. But I know it's over. So I'm riding it through. I'm riding it fucking through. And then I've been reading Under Doctor, which I know we did a new series of, which has been great. Got a color page this week, which is a good sign that it's popular. And then Alien Headbutt, which is, by the way, this shit has been kicking so much fucking ass.
Or head ass. It's been kicking some head ass.
Head ass. It's the art in that's just been fucking. He's been killing it. I really been really fucking liking Alien Headbutt. And I basically will blast through these new series. And then like once I fell like 2 or 3 chapters behind on Kanado's Magic. That's why I didn't read that today. But I'll catch up on that at work over this week, and then that'll be back in the rotation. And then then there's like Hero Girl and Demon Lord that's getting canceled. I read the first chapter. It was like this blows, and this isn't gonna stick around. And then Ganrade got canceled. So I dropped that after chapter 4 because I was like, this sucks. And I knew it wasn't gonna stick around. Really, the 2 big ones that I need to the 2 big ones before we get to my final 3. That are also set in stone, like at the end, my enders, my go-to guaranteed enders when I'm going to end the reading session. It doesn't end without these 3 series. Is Ichi the Witch I need to catch up on. That's like 70-something chapters. And then I got to just fucking bite the bullet and read New A's Exorcist, which I'm not looking forward to. But apparently people say is good. Apparently people are like, oh, it's good actually. Maybe it's like me with Kiyoshi, where I'm like, no, it's good, guys.
So sometimes totally the ender is the one actually you're not really thrilled about reading.
Oh no, so I haven't read so those are like they need to be added to the just because if anyone's asking where's Ichi, where's New A's Exorcist, I haven't read them yet. Haven't caught up on them. I got like 20 chapters into Ichi, and I've restarted. I'm like, it's like The Witcher 3. I just keep restarting it from the beginning and thinking I'm gonna get far.
You are but I just need to. You are like this. We need to do a topic on this, but like the restart versus just the pickup where you left off, folks. And I definitely feel like I'm more in the latter, and you are like psychotically the former.
It's been so hard. I remember I was getting back into Hunter x Hunter, and I was like, I can't go through the beginning of it again. So what I did was because I stopped like halfway through the fucking the auction arc, the Phantom.
Yeah.
That I stopped like 2/3 of the way through that. I was like, let me start at the beginning of that arc.
Okay.
And then let me look up.
And
then let me ask ChatGPT to give me a no spoiler, no character ability spoiler explanation of how the Nen system works, because my ass did not remember. Gave a great summary, and I was back in it.
You're back in it.
I was back in it, and then I read all, and I'm gonna have to do the same thing because I stopped like maybe, oh god, I can't even put a percentage on it, but I read like 50 chapters of Chimera Ant, and I kind of like fell off right when they were training with Knuckle. Great character, by the way. A big Knuckle fan, big Knuckle enjoyer. But I gotta read. I'll just find the first chapter of the Chimera Ant arc, and when I'm ready to get back to Hunter x Hunter, I'll just start at that. Even though Greed Island's awesome, I'd have no issue rereading Greed Island. I just want to, I want to get back in the sauce. Anyways, we're getting off topic. The final three. This is every week, guaranteed. We always end on these three in this order. It's me and Roboco for my fun. This is the fun times era. This is the fun times part of my read. I want to end on a good note. So I ran with me and Roboco. Always gives me laughs. Big Roboco fan in this house. Watch our video about the Roboco theorem. Love this story so much. Always cracks me up. Always gives me a fucking chuckle. Really a great way to start wrapping up the reading session. Then after that, newer series, Someone Hurts, fills me with just so much joy. I read it.
I did read the first chapter of that, and I could see myself reading more of that for sure.
Oh hell yeah!
Those two were very fun together.
You're gonna be reading more of it. We'll do an arc review of the first 20 chapters.
Arc review. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I really fucking like it, and it's just again like low key, like low stakes story. Nothing crazy going on. Just like a fun, lighthearted slice of life about these two kids listening to this fucking radio show. Really enjoy it. Really great. And it gets a lot of color pages, and the color pages are gorgeous. And the one today was sick. And then finally, last and like definitely, absolutely, certainly not fucking least, is Witch Watch. Gotta end my fucking week on Witch Watch. I gotta end my reading session on Witch Watch.
This is like a Nintendo Direct, right? You gotta open with, and you need to end with the Heat. Like you gotta open with the Smash reveal, and then the Metroid Prime or whatever. Yeah.
Now I will say, especially where Witch Watch is at right now, we're in a more like we're in a more serious part of this. We're in a more serious, more shonen part of the story. But a vast majority of the chapters are very lighthearted, chapter by chapter, play with magic gimmicks with the fun cast of characters. But still, regardless, I still save it for the end. Still love it. Cracks me up every fucking week, even when it's a bit more serious. And yeah, I fucking love Shinohara. It's a great story, and I don't want it to. I will be very sad when it eventually ends.
So okay, you've last one on Witch Watch. You swipe, it's done. What time is it on a Sunday?
So if my ass got started right at 10, and I didn't take any breaks, usually like around noon.
Okay, so 2 hours. That's not
about 2 hours, and that will again it's some including like
so noon to
Reddit to read some stuff.
Yeah.
To read some
Reddit could be double.
Yeah, that gets in there a little bit, so I'll read some stuff in between chapters sometimes just to see what people are saying.
That's reasonable though. That's beautiful.
Yeah, or sometimes I'll read through a bunch of shit, and then once I finish, I'll go online. I'll be like, oh, let's see what people are saying about this, or because you can get a gauge of, especially with the newer series, like you can definitely get a gauge by how many upvotes the chapter discussion, like the auto shonen drop gets, and then how many comments it has, just to kind of see if people are engaging with the story really, and that can be a little barometer for you if you think something's going to stick around or not. Although I'm pro, you should just read these fucking stories anyways, and then it's because again, it's not really that big of a time. Each individual chapter is like 7 to 8 minutes of your time. So it's really not so, especially when you're reading it like this in the magazine format, which is basically how I read it now. All this shit just at once. I will say, I think you said something earlier. Like sometimes, like I'll be reading through and like a chapter will like wash over me, but I'm shockingly able to like remember where everything is.
Well, like 5 years, then, you're a pro at it now, yeah.
Or yeah, I'm able to like keep track of all the characters and everything. Like my brain is able to just like switch into Shinobi Undercover mode.
Like to like 14 series in one day. Like I typically just read one at a time, get caught up, and then move on to like I'm not bouncing.
Yeah. And I will say, like, I think there's a lot, and we'll eventually do like a binge versus week to week discussion, because I think there's a lot to say about that. But I will say, like, in the magazine format, when you read the stories like this, it's fun to notice trends. It's like fun to notice like these little like trends or coincidences or whatever. Like for example, like something I noticed this week. So something we didn't talk about because neither of us have caught up on it is Chainsaw Man Part 2 ended very controversially. And there's been a big, I'm sure you've seen the memes of cause you had a chainsaw and you're a man. Oh, okay. I'm sure you've probably seen an edit or a meme of that. And basically just like a weird name drop. And there were 2 separate series I read this week, that name dropped the title in the chat, that like did a name drop of the title in the chapter. And I'm like, oh, that with Chainsaw Man included, that's 3 series to have said the name of the series in the chapter. I think those just, seeing those trends are like, or those coincidences are funny. I love seeing what gets the color page. I always look forward to seeing what the lead color page is. Or whatever the lead series is that week, or if it's an anniversary week and you get to see all the characters together on like a collage. It's fun. And especially it's fun. Those are fun when you're caught up on most of the series, because you're like, oh, that's him from that series I like. Plus it's like all these other people. It's like, oh, I know most of the cast. But yeah, that's my Shonen Jump reading schedule. That's basically how I spend my Sunday morning. If you're on this grind,
sounds lovely, Sam. I love it.
Yeah, please let us know. And I definitely, highly recommend. I highly recommend it. Took a long time to get here, and plus, like, there are so many series, dude, that like I were reading week to week, and they're not in the magazine anymore. There's probably like maybe at least 10 probably series that like, I was reading that week to week very consistently, part of this routine, and then it just, it ends, it gets canceled, falls out of the routine. But I'm liking these stories. I'm liking where the magazine is right now. And also to give you guys some new content, we got 3 new series coming out. So 3 more new series reviews.
Oh, when is
gonna
that?
make, I think it's starting next week. It's going to be issues 19, 20, 21.
Okay.
Including, by the way, a series from the creator of Gintama. He's coming back. The Gintama offer. His name is escaping me.
Very cool. I think I know his name. Stay authentic.